Lumians have been buffed. A lot. And I want to go over them, even if I am a little tardy to the party. Thanks to Warm Cuddle for suggesting this video. Now let's look at the new rally moves. Starting with Gandervale. Glorious. Gandervale has been regarded as the worst Lumian in the game, and I can see why. Middling speed and power, frail, lack of good ability, lack of coverage, it doesn't have many good positive traits. Did the buffs fix that? Well, kind of. But before we talk about that, we have to talk about the utility it got, as it received every entry hazard. Jamie likely threw these onto it arbitrarily, hoping it would just help by gifting Gandervale utility. And I mean, it kind of did it, but it doesn't really play to Gandervale's strengths. You could use it as a hazard lead, but Gargoyle speed would always be better, but it doesn't hurt to have the utility, I guess. The real buffs are Wave Wrecker and Rogue Assault. Now these don't make Gandervale viable, but they do help it. Wave Wrecker is the water coverage it always wanted, and Rogue Assault helps it hit through metal and ice types. It's still never breaking Tundraland, but it's still a buff. And no, Gandervale is not good now. Next buff is my least favorite. Cosmeor, or as I like to say, Cosmeor. Getting Dissipate and Fire Slam. I am very happy about Dissipate. I think it's cool that we get to spread this good move out, and I think it's really interesting. In addition to Cosmeor's toolkit, Negative Priority Switch move is amazing utility, and this adds to Cosmeor's game, regardless of form. Though especially the Encased one, which is definitely the weakest one. However, Fire Slam ruins Cosmeor Unleashed for me. I view Cosmeor as a lock and key design Lumian, where Cosmeor is strong against most Lumians but has a key to unlock it in metal types. Now, Cosmeor isn't that strong overall, so a buff was useful, but instead of focusing on the lock and key design, Jamie made it break its counters with Fire Slam. Is the strong buff? Sure, but it completely ruined Cosmeor U for me, and now that's just upsetting because I previously really liked it. Dissonant Core Stratosaur is pretty much irrelevant as High Pitch Screech is superior. So on to the trio of Flare Blasters, Pyroland, Billowforge, and Krakaloa. Pyroland is hilarious as with Volcanic, it can one-shot basically everything under Heat Wave with a Flame Shell. But other than that, the novelty of Flare Blast is pretty whatever. I think Fire Breath is better. But Billowforge and Krakaloa can make good use of it, however, as under Heat Wave the move becomes perfectly accurate, making it extremely powerful with a high burn chance. And on a Lumian like Krakaloa who has really high energy, it's an excellent move for them. Hydroblast Deladrix is extremely powerful. An increase of 20 base power is not insignificant and even has a disgusting daze chance for no reason. This is a strong buff, but I'm not sure if Dows or Jetstream will be dropped from the moveset. However, even if Deladrix can break its range walls, it pressures them more, forcing them to rejuvenate more, and thus Hydroblast is still a powerful buff for the already excellent Deladrix. Not sure if it's my favorite though. Actually, I am sure, because I do know what my favorite is, and you'll see it later. Typhoon, Whippledrift, and Phantom Blast Psionics are fine. An upgraded air move for Whippledrift as a sweeper, which is useful to lock in KOs, and Phantom Blast for an Uber is whatever. So these are fine, I guess. Plasma got a ton of treats. Thunder Blast would give it a high-powered move to make up for its lower range attack, and easier to Oko Sober Stratosaur. Rejuvenate to actually last throughout a battle for once. Dissipate as an option for negative priority pivoting as amazing utility, and Teardown as a hazard removal option. All of this utility and longevity tools, in my opinion, make Plasma actually pretty good. Previously, Plasma was on a timer, like the weather setters from Generation 5 OU, but now Plasma can heal itself with Rejuvenate and clear hazards for its team to last longer. And honestly, if Thunderstorm has stronger abusers, Thunderstorm teams might be legitimately powerful now that Plasma has all this utility. I think it's really good. Dusket's buffs are fine, Tribute is cool, and Pyrokinesis lets it destroy Leshend. Honestly, a lot of buffs are here to destroy Leshend, like the aforementioned Fire Slam Cosmeor and a few more that we will see. Tyrex can finally use Power Jaws viably now. Thunderchomp makes offensive Power Jaw Tyrex able to bust through even bulky melee water types like Tsukama and Invitation. And with how weak these are, Tyrex has a ton of offensive potential now. Teardown is fine. Hazard removal is obviously good, so this helps bulkier Tyrex sets out. Overall, not bad for Tyrex. Raging Flame Infernix is really good. As a pivot, being able to mitigate damage, especially on its weaker defense, gives Infernix even more defensive utility. I like this one. Bulk Up Mutagon is whatever. It's cool to pair a Body Crush. Sure, nothing else. Moving on. Metronet is for memes, but it's an Uber, so it's not really relevant, so on to the big one. Dakuda with Venom Slash and the Brute Force ability increasing its base power from a weak 70 to a solid 91. This is broken. Dakuda was extremely powerful and already stringent in terms of counters. Sober's Florent and Leshent were some of the few Lumias that kept it from demolishing absolutely everything, and thankfully were good overall, but now Venom Slash can crush them. Dakuda is definitely going to be heavily tested to see if Venom Slash is that broken, but we will see. Sober's Dakuda is thankfully less outrageous with Venom Slash, but base Dakuda is an absolute monster now. Preemptive Strike Xierna is fun for VGC and really is starting to resemble Incineroar, so on to Gargolem. Rogasol can 2-hit KO Frail Armor Stratosaur, which means it can potentially break its previous best and most common answer. Gargolem attack had been decreasing in usage and viability, so a strong buff is pretty good. And Gnarly Gash doesn't hurt, though Slapdown has more utility. Overall, strong buff for Gargolem. I'm happy. Impersonate Marafe is funny, and it is a good user with mixed attacking stats, but otherwise it's for memes. Energy Break Glacadia is fine, but won't save Glacadia from irrelevancy, so on to Frostbeam Shachi, which is pretty heavily debated as to how good Frostbeam is as a buff, since it helps with Sedimars, Leshent, Sober's Florent, all those, but Shachi was very strapped for moves already. Pyrokinesis were preferred alongside T-Strike, Stab, and E-Burst for its ability to watch out Leshent, so Frostbeam isn't too useful, but it is viable for sure, because Frostbeam still damages Leshent, and again, hits the aforementioned targets like Sober's Florent and Sedimars. Skipping Ragoon because I don't know crap about it. Now for my favorite Lumion, Snagoop. This is easily my favorite buff. I like it because it's a buff that is strong and brings Snagoop to the perfect level of viability, but not broken. I had spent a long time deciding how I buff Snagoop ever since I started, but my answer was always Boom Bash, which was lame as the obvious answer was give it Brawler, Fire, or Earth coverage to deal with its biggest weaknesses. Tsunami was something unconsidered by me, and really cool as it can break Meditone and Eliguana more easily while still being easily answered by Oxydrake, Stratosaur, and Venilin. I think this is probably the best buff yet, the best balanced one at least. By the way, do people actually use Barter Snagoop? I always hated it. You guys know I use Perk Provoke as a stall breaker, and I genuinely think it's incredible. Why the hell do you guys use Barter? Unless you're Boots, which, sure, but no Boots, then what? Vital Jab Shoulder is really cool, and upgrade over Mega Punch as a breaker for ice and metals, but not much else. Plays into Sword of Strength as a tank thankfully, so good buff. Ferroblast Boneki. Now this buff is great as it can break Leshent and most plants while still being answered by Sober's Florent and such. But may I ask why? Pheromones are hormones for bugs. I went mad when I heard Hollybunch got it, and now Boneki? Freaking disgusting. Earthquake Barbarager is pretty cool, a stronger neutral move for Cleona and friends, and is really nice for Barbarager while being able to go crazier against the ever-popular Billowforge. It works well with Barbarager getting a +1 boost so that Earthquake can do more damage. So that's nice, this is a good buff. Finally, Discordance Lyricat, it's good for Leshent, little else, cool. And that's my opinion on all the recent buffs. Let me know what you think of it, and let me know if I'm complete trash and my opinions suck. I'm not a very seasoned player, but these are my opinions. Let me know what you think of them. See ya.